Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of PodQuest. Today, we have a special guest, YouTuber and the #1 fan of Legends of Loch Lamora, Merphy Napier.
You said the title wrong.
What did I say wrong?
Fake fan. You said Legends of Loch Lamora. It's lies.
Oh, you're right.
You claim you love the series too. It's a lie.
I mean, like, that's what the book's about.
His legends?
Yeah.
One would argue it's about his lies too.
I mean, it's kind of a little bit of everything.
Sorry, all your fans already hate me now because I've already interrupted to fight.
No, it's okay. Every one of our episodes is us arguing with each other.
Oh, good.
So this actually fits the theme.
I'll get my knives out.
Yeah. No, like, we record our normal, like, weekly episode tomorrow, where we all decided to watch Gremlins, like the 1984, like, movie.
Oh, yeah?
My one friend does not like movies. Like, he just, full stop, he doesn't like fiction, I should say.
Okay.
And he's already been in our group chat. Not, like, arguing, but, like, have you seen Gremlins before?
No.
So this won't make sense to you, but in the movie, there's a little dude named Gizmo. He looks like a Furby. And they tell the kid who gets him, don't feed him after midnight, don't get him wet. And my friends in the thing, it's like, well, what does after midnight mean? Technically, all time is after midnight. I'm like, dude, it's a movie. Come on now.
That sounds like the kind of conversation I would be having.
Yep. And my other friends in there, like, arguing with him about it. It's like, well, yeah, but if I say, hey, let's hang out after 7, you're not going to be like, well, every time is after 7, so I'm on my way over now. All we do is argue.
Save your bickering for the podcast. What are you doing discussing it in advance?
Oh, we'll find more to bicker about, believe me.
Okay, good.
It's what we do best. We're all from New Jersey.
So there's plenty of bickering then?
Oh, yeah. That is what New Jersey is known for.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. The arguments and tomatoes. That's all we have.
Okay.
Yeah. See, look, you learned something.
I learned something. It didn't make it sound very appealing. I maybe won't be going to New Jersey tomorrow.
I mean, I wouldn't advise against it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, New Jersey's fine. It's fine. You just, as long as you know how to drive correctly, and that is stay out of the left lane if you're not going faster than everybody else.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
Well, we have trees here. That's about all.
I have trees.
But are your trees as pretty as mine?
I mean, in some parts of it, like, we have the Pine Barrens.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll visit the pines, just not the people.
The Pine Barrens is actually probably the place that, like, you guys would end up if you were in New Jersey.
Probably true. We would find the nature.
It's woods. It's got the legend about the Jersey Devil. Like, you would just gravitate to it.
Yeah, I'm super into it already.
Yeah. Wait, have you never heard about the Jersey Devil before?
No.
Oh, you should look this up. It's an old, like wives' tale, like, myth about, like, the common one is the 13th child of this family from, like, the 1700s that was born, like, deformed in, like, a demonic way. So he's got, like, cloven hooves and stuff like that, and gets, like, left in the woods, and he still, like, haunts the Pine Barrens to this day or something.
Okay, yeah, looking it up.
Yeah. No, it's there's a bunch of different takes on it, but yeah, it's like one of those really popular lore things from this general area.
I think we've managed to derail really quickly.
I know, I'm super good at derailing. It's what I do best. I mean, look at your Discord. I derail that all the time.
I derail that all the time. We're a good team that way. Between the two of us, we make sure nothing is ever on topic.
Oh, yeah. Look, where's the fun in things being off topic? Lynn would be so bored.
She would. She wouldn't have a job if it weren't for you and me.
That makes it sound like you pay her.
Oh, she wouldn't have a hobby if it weren't for you and me.
That's better. But yeah, so for anyone who's not familiar with Merphy, she talks about books and stuff on YouTube, like 5 times a week, right? 4 times a week?
5, yeah.
5?
Too much.
How did you actually get started with, like, the videos?
So I stumbled on the book world of YouTube because I was reading a book and a scene happened that I found confusing, and so I was Googling information on it, and I stumbled on a video review. It was one of the 3, like, first booktubers, like the people that kind of popularized booktube. Then I found the other 2 because they were all friends and just watched them for a long time and thought that they were booktube. And then over time realized that it's a whole community of people. And then it was just kind of a foregone conclusion. It was like, if reading can be social, I'm there.
I mean, it seems to have worked out.
It has. I have loved it.
I feel like that's, like, the general thing with like that's like with booktube in general too, is like like you find like one person, and then like that person will mention another person, and then all of a sudden like there's 24 different people talking about different books in your subscriptions.
It's almost like if you give a nerd permission to be a nerd publicly, then like all the other nerds are like, "Wait, what? We can have a community?"
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't know how you popped up in my YouTube algorithm, but like one of your more viral videos, one of the Harry
Harry
Potter
Potter or
ones or something,
something. Yeah.
like popped up. It might have even been like a Stormlight video because I had just finished reading Mistborn,
Okay.
and I'm just like, people talk about books on here now, and
I know, right?
like it was like you and Daniel and a couple other people. I'm just like, what is going on with my algorithm all of a sudden?
Apparently, I like books now.
Well, I mean, yeah, like I actually said it on your server the other day.
I saw
Like,
that.
yeah, last year I read 15 books. This year I've read 101 so
Yeah,
far.
you're a wild man.
It's not that hard to read.
No, but you like you outread me though. Like you're always going, "This is my job," and you somehow do it better than me.
Yeah, wait, how many books have you read this year? Do you know?
No, I don't keep track, but I'm sure it's less than you. Because
I
you read everything that I read and then some.
Doesn't Lynn keep track of it for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so like at the end of the year, you do have like a I've read this many books sort of thing going.
No, because she mixes the books and the manga. So I would have to go
Oh,
through and sort them, unless I just counted them together, which I don't, because to me, one volume of manga isn't equivalent to one novel.
yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I have a spreadsheet and they're separate on there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be hard for me to go through and see how many books I've read. I just don't care enough to spend those 5 minutes.
Yeah, I liked seeing the other stats, so it was just easy enough to just have like the number too. Like I want to see how many pages I read and like what the average number of days it takes me to like finish something is.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
I don't-
that makes sense.
yeah, I don't know. Like it was one. So I also didn't know that I liked fantasy until 2022. So
But you read Mistborn.
so that's when I read Mistborn,
Was Mistborn Wait, was Mistborn your introduction to fantasy?
like adult fantasy. Yeah, like when I was
Me too,
younger, I
Bob, we're twins!
see. Look, we were all talking about that with our family dynamics.
I know, right? Yeah, before we started recording, turns out we have basically identical families.
Yeah. But yeah, like I read like Harry Potter and like Aragon and stuff like that in
Yeah,
like middle school and high school.
same. Hunger Games?
Okay, yeah, yeah, I did read Hunger Games, but that's more. I didn't really think of that as fantasy.
Oh, I've already forgotten what we were talking about. Continue. I was just naming books now that I read when I was a kid.
But yeah, yeah, like Hunger Games, I definitely read. But yeah, so it was a lot of like I read a lot of the similar books that my dad and my uncle had read when I was growing up. So like thrillers and stuff like that.
Sure, sure.
But yeah, it wasn't until like picking up Mistborn in like mid to late 2022 and like reading that through like I guess the summer. Actually, no, I must have started that early 2022 because I finished that by like April, and then I went right into Stormlight.
Oh my goodness, that's quite the venture as a new
Yeah,
fantasy fan.
yeah, and then like in the middle of Mistborn, that's when Sanderson did his Kickstarter. So I'm like, I like this 1.5 books I read. I'm gonna give this guy a bunch of money for these boxes with books unseen. Why
That
not?
completely makes sense, Cobb. I feel that's not true though. You weren't just getting into fantasy when the Kickstarter was announced, were you?
Yeah, I didn't join your Patreon until August of last year.
Really? It feels like you've been there longer than that.
No, yeah, I didn't actually even like I wasn't active on it until like January of this year.
How is your presence so large that you've superimposed yourself in my memory years ago?
I don't know. I say a lot. Like, I'm
That must be it.
but like also because I didn't read much fantasy, like I do, like generally whatever you have in like that just chaos of channels of that is your TBR, I just read them because
I
why
know.
not?
Because why not? Well, that has definitely gotten you a lot of fantasy books under your belt.
It has. Like at this point, I've read more than I think I've read more this year than the last decade.
Wow. That's really impressive.
Yeah, because I think I was averaging like 10 to 15 books a year. Like,
So, are you typically the type to get a hobby and then just make it take up all your time?
I mean, not necessarily. Like a lot of the reading is like audiobooks. So, like, oh, I guess a lot of the speed is coming from audiobooks.
Okay, let me
So,
ask you a different way. Is it normal for you to get into a hobby and then devote a lot of your time and attention to it? Because you spend a lot of time just chatting on the server too.
Yeah, yeah, probably. Like if I like something, I definitely like dive into it for like a while.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. See, the reason I ask is because that's how I am. If I find a hobby that I like, I usually make it my personality, which is why I typically don't have time for a lot of hobbies. I just have like a few interests and then I just those are my interests.
And then you find ways to make those interests overlap. Like you really like boats, so you read a lot of like nautical fiction.
That's so true. I love the ocean and boats and anything nautical, so I will tie it into my other hobbies any way I can.
But like you don't really, it's funny, like you read a lot of like both nonfiction that is like nautical themed and like fiction, but you don't talk about it in your videos as much. I guess like do those just not do as much like traction?
See, all those make it into my reading vlogs, so they still get talked about. It's just, I don't know. I think I think they get the same amount of attention, Cobb, because no, go ahead.
So maybe you're cutting stuff out of it.
What
Like
do you
maybe you're
mean?
talking for them longer and it's rambly, so like you're trimming it down so those things like just seem shorter.
Oh, you just think that I don't go as in depth with them?
Yeah, like
Yeah, that's fair.
I feel like the wager you talked about quite a bit after reading that one.
I loved it.
But like maybe like coming back alive, like
Well, you haven't seen that vlog yet.
has that not gone up yet?
No, because I put that vlog off. So it's going up
Oh.
on Thursday.
I feel like you finished it so long ago. I just assumed it was in a video, and
It was
you
like
just glanced over it, and I
it was
forgot
like
about
a
it.
week and a half ago.
That's not how time works. It was like a month ago. You finished it at like the beginning of December.
You finished it like a month ago, but it took me a long time to get through that first half, and then I blew through the second half.
That first half was actually rough. Yeah,
Yeah, you have to have a lot of faith in the process.
yeah. Like it ended up being a good book by the end, but like the first part was very much like here's a bunch of backstory that like only kind of matters,
Yeah,
and then it's like oh
and
here's what was on the back of the book that we told you this thing was about.
right, 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 and it's a lot of like disconnected stories, and you're just like, okay, how can this all be relevant at the same time?
Yeah, and like I get it. Like if it was written very much like a fiction book.
Yeah, I could see that. Did you feel like it paid off? I mean, you know my thoughts, but did you feel like it paid off?
Yes and no. Like I liked it, but I felt like I think because it was written in such a way where it felt like a like fiction. It didn't read like a
Yeah,
nonfiction. That
I agree with that.
it wasn't a letdown because like I'm glad like as many people survived as they did, but it almost felt like, oh, this was just anticlimactic at the end. But it's like, oh
Mm.
no, wait, it was nonfiction. Like there shouldn't have been a big climax. Like
You thought it felt anticlimactic? Explain yourself.
so I guess anticlimactic wasn't the right word, but I like
No,
it didn't wrap up well, I guess is the thing. Like it just kind of like
explain yourself.
so they rescued the guys that they could, and I thought that part was incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like like the I guess third of the second half where it was like the helicopters going out trying to like rescue these guys, like exhausting their options, like nearly dying themselves because the conditions they were in. I forget everyone's name, but like the guy that was basically the captain of the boat that was injured, that was
Yes.
dying, and
Yes.
like that whole bit there, like all of that was thrilling. But like once that was done, it all just kind of wrapped up very quickly.
Interesting. See, once we finally got through the rescue, and to be clear, because I feel like we just barely, you kind of like quickly said the book title. So if anyone is still listening to to this side tangent on a side tangent, it's the book is called Coming Back Alive, and it's a nonfiction rescue story. But when we finally got through the rescue, uh I was like, oh my goodness, I need to know how the survivors survived. Like, I want to know about their PTSD. I want to know about their survivor's guilt. And I thought that the author did a very good job of touching on all that and kind of leaving us without dragging out the falling action, still leaving us with knowing kind of the cost of being a survivor in such a situation.
So it reminded me almost more of, and you don't watch a lot of movies, so like this might
Nope.
not click, but like a lot of times in movies, especially like coming of age movies, there's that like pre-credits roll where it kind of gives you like, and such is doing this. Or have you
Oh,
ever Have you ever watched the Great British Baking Show?
No.
Oh, well, you should watch the Great British Baking Show because that does it too. But yeah, it's like here's where this person is, here's where that person is. I felt like it was just all very like quick, and with
Yeah.
how much was front loaded about these people. I kind
Mm.
of wish that was shrunk down and the back half was stretched a little bit more.
I
Because
think that's a valid complaint.
like I enjoyed it still. It's not like it was a bad book. Again, the first half drug, but like once stuff happened, and I don't know even know if I would have thought it drug as much as it did had the prologue chapter not been so aggressive.
Prologue was very aggressive, and then it really slowed down. But I think that's kind of a common narrative style of getting you with the hook and then going backwards and slowing things down and getting you back up to that point.
That's true. Like a lot of books do that. If the prologue isn't like happening in the middle of the story, it's something else to kind of like get you excited about what's going on.
Yeah.
It's just that beginning. That beginning just really drug everything kind of down a little
Yeah.
bit.
It really did. I can't even remember exactly, like I can't even articulate what it is about the first half that because it took me I don't remember 2 or 3 weeks to get through that first half. And this is a short book, but I just couldn't be bothered to pick it back up. And then once I finally got through that part, I was completely engrossed. So maybe that's partially why I enjoyed it more in the end because I spaced out the first half and the second half so much that the second half kind of stood on its own a little bit more for me.
That's possible because I think if I remember correctly, because it has been like a month for me. I read like that prologue and I'm like, okay, this is good. Because I think I even said something too. I'm like, hey, that prologue was a lot. This
I
might not
remember
be like
that.
a quick read.
Yeah, you even DM'd me to warn me that it was going to be a heavy start.
Yeah. And I think I said it in the channel too. Like, content warning for anyone that's like prone to like issues with this stuff. Because
Right.
it was about as graphic as something like that could be.
Mm.
And like so like I like did that, stopped for a little while, like came back like 2 days later, did like another chapter and like did that for a couple days, but mostly because that beginning kind of slowed down so much. I'm like, oh well, I have like 6 other things I'm trying to read right now too.
Mhm.
So I'm like, this is going really slow. I'm going to focus on this other thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I hit a point where I'm just like, well, I'm done the other things. I'm just going to like blast through this.
And then it was worth it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like once I got to that back half, I'm like, I just need to keep going. I need to know like,
Same.
do they make it? Who makes it? Like, how do they make it?
Yeah. I probably would have DNF'd if my dad hadn't told me it all comes together and it's really, really good.
That first half, like considering how much stuff doesn't happen, and it's really just like, hey, this dude really handy, built a cabin, got himself a wife, lived off the land, like great for him, but like, what does that have to do with a rescue story?
Right.
Or like,
Yes.
yeah, I think one of the other guys like left home at 12 and just became like a hobo, like working odd jobs across the country until he eventually ended up in Alaska of all places.
Yeah. I think you
Uh,
and I find that with a lot of the nonfictions we read because we usually are reading nautical nonfictions and a lot of what we read is like rescue and survival stories. So there's only so much story to tell. So I think we find a lot of padding in the kind of books that we tend to pick up.
Yeah, you know what, that's probably true. I think I keep looking back at like something like The Wager, which had the padding, but like the padding was still interesting because it was leading up to the crash.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, Kyotori and Kratos both were pretty underwhelmed with that book, but you and I really loved it. Didn't you love it too?
For The Wager or for Coming Back Alive?
For The Wager.
Oh, I loved it. I was mad at you for it not being on your actual top 10 list.
Was it not?
No, it's like one of your honor. It's
Oh
the
yeah, it was one
last
of my
honorable
honorable
mention.
mentions. That's true. Whoops. I
Like
don't know.
like you had something else where I'm just like, okay, that was a good book, but like The Wager
It
was
was
better.
it was Wild Swans. So I went I yeah, fair enough.
Well, so I
So
didn't read Wild Swans. It was one of the other ones
that's
that I
on
had
you
read.
then.
Like, but you can have more than one nonfiction on your top 10 list.
I
It's
didn't feel
okay.
like I could. I
Why?
felt like I had to pick
It's
one.
your top 10 list.
I know. Well, it was really a top 15 list. I just called it top 10.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, no, I liked The Wager so much that we actually bought a copy of it, and my wife has an uncle that lives in California,
Mhm.
and we bought a copy for him and sent it to him for Christmas.
Oh, that's awesome. Did he like it?
So
Well,
he
I
literally
guess he
just opened
probably
it
hasn't had
yesterday.
time. Yeah.
But like
Okay.
I we've sent him books the last couple of years. So like last year, I actually sent him The Way of Kings.
Oh yeah?
Like sight unseen, didn't know if he liked fantasy. I'm just like, you know what? He seems to like stuff similar to this. Maybe he'd like reading a fantasy novel. And then we talked to him like 3 months later. He's like, yeah, I've read all of these. Like
Oh my goodness.
he got the rest of them, and he's like, yeah, and like I've been digging into like some of the other stuff. I'm trying to figure out what the Cosmere is.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like we were talking to him yesterday for Christmas. He's like, yeah, I just finished The Reckoners.
You got to
So
send
like,
him a couple of our pirate nonfictions now.
well, I mean, I sent him the wager. That's like
That's
adjacent.
not pirate nonfiction. They're naval men.
I said it's adjacent.
No. We've been reading books about historical pirates who are glorified criminals, not naval men
By the
who
time
are
they got
trying to
back to
survive.
England, they were criminals. I mean,
Okay.
well, look, if I was going to send him a pirate nonfiction, which one?
Under the Black Flag has been my favorite that we've read.
Oh, that was a good one. That that was the one in my head, but I definitely had the name wrong.
No, you didn't know. Wait, what's your favorite pirate nonfiction that we've read?
So I really liked that one. I also liked I liked the Roberts one.
Oh, If a Pirate I Must Be. That was a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah, I liked it, like it focused because it kind of focused on him, but also segued to the other people a little bit.
It did. And that's another thing with these, we've read what, like four pirate nonfictions this year?
4 or 5.
And all of them, we only have so much history on these pirates. And then we eep into speculation, and even that we only have so much of. So to dedicate an entire book to a single pirate, like you're gonna have to go into other stuff. It can't just be about one man.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The one I was thinking of though was Republic of Pirates, but Under the Black Flag was the better one.
Yeah, I agree. I think Republic of Pirates and Under the Black Flag did the same thing, but Under the Black Flag did it a little bit better.
And then I did not like what's the really historic one?
Yeah, A History of Pirates. Yeah, a General History of Pirates. That's the pirate book though. If you're gonna read a pirate nonfiction, then like that's the one that a lot of other books end up referencing.
Well, I mean, and the Roberts book, like there were quotes from it
Referenced it
constantly.
tons. Hmm.
And it's like, but we know that most of this is not accepted as true. So
I don't know
like,
if that's true though. I've heard you say that a couple times. I know that there's a lot that that people speculate. I don't know how true this is, and there's a few things that we can concretely say this author pulled from these news articles and those were embellished. But I think generally it's considered to be as reliable of a source as we can have.
okay. So I think around the time that we were doing like Under the Black Flag and stuff, I think I had looked into general history because,
Well, maybe you know more than me then.
but like I may have not been looking at like reliable sources, let's say.
Well, I haven't looked into any sources. So
Okay, so
I
then maybe I do know more. Who knows?
do you know the YouTube channel History Biopics, I want to say? Hold
No,
on.
I'm really bad at YouTube. I watch so little YouTube. I basically watch like you, Daniel, a couple Pokemon YouTubers, and like and like a handful of other things.
I'm not going to be able to find him quickly. Pirates. So just to be clear, Biographics is the channel that I was talking about. He has over 2 million subscribers, and he makes a lot of pirate videos, and he references general history of pirates a lot, so I've just assumed it was credible. But now let's
Okay.
go back. If you watch so little YouTube, what are you doing so involved in my community?
I like books.
Yeah, that's fair. I like books too.
If you look, like I don't comment on your videos all that often.
Well, and
Um,
if you do, I don't know it's you.
and like when I do, it's usually something snarky, and then you respond very like,
That happened one time.
and you've just never responded since then.
I don't know. Here's the problem. I go through when I post a video, I go through the most upvoted comments until I've done a lot of it and I'm ready to move on. So I don't always notice if it's someone that I should recognize.
Which to 100% like makes sense. Like you did the channel split, but like I think
Yeah.
your manga channel that used to just be your main channel. You've got like close to 500,000 subscribers, right?
I don't think I'm close to 500. I think I'm over 4, but I don't think I'm I don't think I'm that far over 4.
All right, if we're rounding though, over 4 is closer to 5 than like 200.
What are these what are these boundaries you're setting? I think I'm closer to 4 than I am to 5. Why 2? Why throw 2 in there?
Well, like when you're rounding, anything above 3 you round to 5, anything below 3 you round to 1, right?
Whose
So
rules are these?
I don't know, math.
Math's rules?
Here, let's see. Let's see. How many does it say? So you have 438,000.
Which is closer to 4 than 5.
It is, but like in the grand scheme of things, you're closer to 5 than like a lot of other people are.
You can't just make up the rules.
And if we look at, so if you add that with your books channel, you're actually at like 390 or 490 something.
That, that's not how you equate subscribers. It's not math. You don't add them together.
But if we did, you're closer to 500,000.
I don't, I, I don't know how to do this conversation.
You have the point was like you have a lot of subscribers, so like keeping track of comments and like responding to them is like its own full-time job.
That's how we spiraled here.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very easy to spiral.
Well, especially when your conversation partner is just making up rules as you go.
Look, that's how math works. You make it up as you go and you hope for the best.
Math has specific rules.
I've heard it both ways.
That is a lie.
There is a reason I didn't continue with a degree in computer science. It's because there's too much math.
And you kept making up the rules.
Yeah. If I can't figure it out, if I just make it up, like, what are they going to say? Like, no, you're wrong?
Yes, actually, that is what they would say.
Yeah. But yeah, I couldn't imagine like having to like go through and actually like respond to how many comments you get, because like
Sure.
like I've seen, like I've opened a video and been like, there are hundreds of comments on this. It's been up for an hour.
Yeah. So I mean, I enjoy it. I love reading through comments. It's just you can only do so much of it.
You seem to
without
actually
really-
get a lot of like you don't have a lot of trolls.
Yeah, you're right. I have a really great community.
Like it's kind of staggering to like, because I will, like when I watch stuff on YouTube, like I will scroll through the comments and like so many channels where the person doing the video seems super cool, just the worst people in the world commenting on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I oftentimes am a little bit baffled at that because the internet is such an unpleasant place to be so often. And somehow I found myself in one of the most pleasant corners of the internet. I don't really understand how that's happened.
I guess that is like a lot of booktube stuff that like you don't see a lot of negative on a lot of those channels.
It depends on like there are booktube channels that kind of lean into negative content or like drama content. And I don't know what their comment sections are like, but I imagine it's probably a different vibe. But like even my manga channel, you would think would be a little bit more hectic, but like it's really awesome there too.
Except when you tell people you don't want to read Berserk.
No, I just ignore those people. I just don't say. That's not true, actually. I've said many times that I'm not going to read Berserk, and there are people who have their feathers ruffled about that. But for the most part, people are like, I'm not happy about it, but oh well."
Yeah, I do think it's funny how much people want to influence you and like what you read. And like I get it, like they're a fan, so they want you to read the thing that they are a fan of.
They want to hear my commentary on it.
Yeah, they want to hear your commentary. They want you to be a fan of it too. They want you to like gush over it the way they probably do. But like if something's not for a person, just let it not be for them.
Yeah, I think part of it is that I try to make my community as much of a community as I can. So like I try to make it interactive. I want people to give recommendations and I want to read what people are interested in hearing my commentary about. And so because I invite people to influence my reading, if they're unsuccessful, if they suggest something and I say, no, I'm not going to do that one, then it's almost like, no, you opened the door to this. Why are you closing it now?
Yeah, but even then though, like and I'm basing it mostly off your Discord servers.
Oh, sure.
The people on both of those, like I don't really interact on the public one.
Yeah.
But like your Patreon one, like people will like, be like, hey, when are you gonna read this? Like that's it.
Well,
Like
again,
no one's...
I've opened that door though. Like
Yeah,
I have a suggestion form and I hold polls for people to choose what I read. Like I open the door. So there is you're right. There can be a lot of pushiness and that can sometimes be a little bit frustrating if someone refuses to drop it. But for the most part, I am aware that I opened this door. Like I told people, "Hey, I want your input and I want this to be a community thing." So I can't really get fussed when people want it to be a community thing and
exactly.
obviously, people should respect my no, but I also understand that, this is just a byproduct of it.
Yeah, I think in some cases, just like from what I've seen, like some people are joking more than being serious. Like they do
Sure.
want you to read like the thing like Berserk, but now it's almost become like a meme on the
It
server.
has absolutely become a meme. We have a meme for it. We have a GIF for it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, the welcome gift actually just say no, you don't want to read Berserk. But like so like I think some people lean into that a little bit harder, but like
Sure.
no one does it mean spiritedly. Where like if you
No,
look
yeah, I agree.
like I follow a lot of gaming content, like
Mhm.
podcasts and stuff like that, and like I no longer go on Facebook. But like when I did, like being in like groups for those like podcasts, like people were always so angry about stuff. It's like such and such didn't like this game or such and such didn't play this game. It's like, well, why would they? Like, when have you ever heard them talk about a thing like that?
Yeah, the gaming community is odd. You would think that it would be chill because it's just a bunch of people playing games, but
No.
it's weirdly one of the most toxic spaces.
Yeah, I that might be why like my impression of like YouTube comments is colored the way it is because of how much gaming stuff I followed over the years.
Yeah.
That like dipping into like the book side of things in the last like 2-ish years, let's say. Um, it's just like, oh, people are like nice over here. Like they just
Yeah.
want you to enjoy the thing that they enjoy.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. And you seem to be one of the more like approachable, I guess is the best way to put it.
Well, you
Like
don't watch YouTube, so what do you know?
well, no, like from like the people that I do watch, like not that anyone is like unapproachable, but like you're in your comments, like you're on your Discord
Sure.
servers, like you are actively engaging with people, like you recognize, like not on YouTube obviously, but like on your servers, like you know who people are for the most part,
Sure, sure.
and even like your public server, I think you've got some like crazy number of people in there now, like 7,000, 8,000,
Mhm.
and it's like that's
Yeah,
a lot of people,
it is, it is.
even if only 100 are active.
Yeah. It, the internet is big. And, they let anybody on there, so you get kind of a mixed bag. Um, so I think for especially for the Patreon, which is a more, it's a smaller community of people, it's kinda like my place where I get to just hang out and goof off and just chill. So, I don't know, I don't know how active other people are on their servers, but it's almost like this is my space. This is my spot where I just get to hang out with my friends.
Yeah, and, like, this isn't, like, booktuber specific, but I know, like, some just content creators in general, they're like, "Please don't tag me and stuff." Like,
Oh,
if you're
sure.
responding, like, turn off the tag, like, please don't at me, don't send me DMs without, like, getting approval sort of thing, and, like, I get that, like
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It can get really overwhelming.
yeah, like, I can't imagine how bad your notifications are on a daily basis because you are very, like, "Oh, no, like, if I say something, respond to me."
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, you're reading this book? Tag me when you get to this part and let me know what you think."
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I don't know. I like hanging out with people.
No, and it makes it social, like, it makes reading social as opposed to
Exactly.
just, like, sitting in the corner of your house, like, hoping your kids are, like, occupied for an hour while you, like, read a book.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, and once you finish a book, you want to talk to people about it. And that's the point of the server is that you get to do that. Or while you're reading it, when you get to a really exciting scene or in our server, we have a lot of competition where, like right now I have an ongoing joke with one of the guys I'm reading Dandelion Dynasty with that I'm going to steal his girl if I finish the book first. And like that kind of stuff, that's I would miss that, if I removed myself more.
I think that's part of what makes it fun because it being your server, like, people definitely get more they're more active when you're involved in a lot
Yeah.
of cases.
Yeah, yeah.
There are times where, like, other channels will get, like, a lot of traction on something that you have nothing to do with, but, like, if
Mhm.
you hop in and you're talking about Dandelion Dynasty, like, everyone hops in to comment also.
Yeah, 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 sure.
Or, like, when like, right now you're reading Naruto, you brave soul. Um, and, like, that channel, like, anytime, like, you read a volume, you do your write-up, it's, 2 hours of
pops
people
off.
discussing it after you've like vanished into the ether, and you're like, all right, I got what I needed out of this. I'm gonna let you all argue amongst yourselves now.
I do tend to disappear when the arguments break out. No, yeah, I'm really grateful. I'm extremely grateful that there are so many people that actually want to have those conversations with me. That I know that if there's a book that I'm discussing, that people, and you're one of them, Cobb, that you always show up if it's a series that you've read or a book that you're reading with me. You know, you always pop up and you're ready to have that discussion. And I'm super grateful for that because that's the point of me creating this Discord is to be able to have these conversations. So yeah, I'm super grateful that the conversations flow.
Yeah, I think that is part of how I ended up reading so many more books this year. Is I wasn't just reading them by myself.
Right.
I wasn't reading before bed and like, all right, well, I'll read a chapter or two and then I'll go to sleep. It was like, oh no, I have to be ahead of this person because they're going to finish and then they're going to have a wall of black text.
Yeah, and you want to read the wall.
Honestly, there is a lot of competition. Like you did the bingo in the second half of the year,
Hmm.
and I took that as a personal challenge and
You did, you lunatic.
blacked it out twice because why not?
Because I could barely black it out one time.
Which is crazy because you read so much.
Yeah.
But I guess like it's those specific things that you don't read. Like I think you said before that like anthologies are just not like a thing you read a lot of.
Exactly. Yeah, I put certain prompts on there that I thought would be appealing to other people and that weren't appealing to me. Because in my mind, this is a bingo board. We're all trying to get bingo. And then you people were like, I'm going to get a blackout. And then I'm going to get a blackout twice. And then I was like, well, then I need to get a blackout too. So it took me a really long time to meet the challenges that I didn't plan on meeting.
Yeah, that there were a few on there that like because I wasn't really changing what I was reading so much. Like I added a few things in there to like get like the anthology one. But in a lot of cases, I'm
Hmm.
like, where will this book that I read fit on this board? Like, can I make this
Hmm.
fit on this board somewhere?
Right. That was the way I did it initially, but to get a couple of the final prompts, I had to actually add stuff, which ended up working out because I enjoyed a lot of the things that I added after the fact, like the to fit the anthology role. It was something that I wouldn't have picked up otherwise, and I ended up really enjoying it.
What did you do for the anthology?
Monster? No, it's called Wanted. Sorry, one of the short stories was called
Monster's something else.
I'll just say anything. It doesn't matter. Wanted. It was a collection of Oda's one-shots.
Oh, I didn't know that that was a thing that existed.
Yep. Even made a short about it.
I don't know what shorts are. I'm going to be honest with you.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It was a collection of one-shots by the author of One Piece.
Were they tied to One Piece at all, or were they actually like unrelated?
Two of them were tied to One Piece, and then the other three were just their own things.
Oh, that's actually really cool. Like that must have been weird too to like because you are current with One Piece, right? Like you read the chapters
Yeah.
as they release.
Yes.
I like I see the videos always go up, and I assumed those were the most recent chapters, but
Yes.
I am not caught up.
Yeah. Where are you?
So we're watching it instead of reading it because my wife is also into it.
Uh-huh.
Um, we're in Fishman Island right now.
Oh
So like
my
right
goodness.
after the time skip, and I'm just really really annoyed at Sanji.
Ah.
Like
Yeah. It's not his finest moment.
yeah, like so far like every episode has been like okay, all this other stuff around here is great, but like then Sanji's there, and it's like,
And then Sanji's
dude, you're
there.
bringing it all the way down now.
Yeah. See, it's a shame because he's either the best character or the worst character, depending on what arc you're in.
You're getting to that in Naruto too.
Who? Why? What?
Jiraiya,
Who?
the Toad guy.
Oh, he's never the best. He's only the worst.
No, like I'm not gonna spoil anything for you, but like he is both the worst like Master Roshi was, but
Yes.
also the best like Master Roshi was.
Yes. Well, I believe the worst. I haven't seen any of best mentality out of him. He's only been awful.
No, there is a reason people like him. It's just it's very much like do you remember early Dragon Ball and how just despicable Roshi was?
I do.
It's very similar. Like he doesn't have a lot of redeeming qualities right away, but like as the story goes on, like some of that
Mm,
comes out.
okay. Well, good. I'm looking forward to actually having complicated feelings about him instead of just wanting to kick him out of the series.
Yeah, he's the worst as far as like that like pervert humor goes.
Uh-huh.
Like I can't think of anyone else that really leans into that in that series,
Hmm.
which is good.
That is good. Gotta have the perv gag.
Every manga needs one.
Every manga needs one. I just wish it weren't directed at children so often.
Yeah. I think isn't Bleach on your list to read at some point too?
Yeah.
I feel like that one actually doesn't have a prominent one.
Good.
Like I'm like trying to remember. Like there are definitely like there are some weird characters and there's definitely some of that humor like throughout it. But like I don't feel like there's the like super perverted old man character.
Cool. Well, I'm happy to hear it. It feels like I've just resigned myself to it will never not be here.
Oh no, if it's a shonen, it's almost always there.
Yeah.
You will for the rest of the time that you read manga, which is apparently forever since you have a channel dedicated to it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I have officially become a weeb.
Which speaking of, like how has that been going for you?
It's been going really great. It's a change that I have known that I needed to make for a long time, but I just have chickened out over and over again. And now that I've finally done it, it's like, this was absolutely the right call.
That's good. Yeah, because so for anyone that's not familiar, originally you had like your main channel that like just all of your main stuff went on. Then you had like your reviews channel that was like your vlogs and your like spoiler reviews.
Uh-huh.
And you swapped those what in November?
Yeah, I think so. Yes. It's been very recent.
Yeah, one is dedicated to just like books and novels and stuff like that, and one is dedicated to just manga.
Hmm. Yeah, I originally thought that the two could coexist because it's all reading. So it makes sense to keep it all together. But my audiences didn't overlap as much as I had assumed that they would. So it just became essentially two sets of audiences being hosted in the same space. And it wasn't working, especially for my bookish people. I got a lot of complaints from my novel readers just wanting me to have two separate spaces, not wanting it to be intermingled. And I kind of dug my heels in a little bit because I was annoyed about the complaint because I was like, it's all reading. Why do you care so much? Just pick the videos you want to watch and don't watch the ones that you don't want to watch. But I also understand if you're not interested in half the content that's being produced, then that is unappealing. You want a space that's just for your particular interest. And what does it matter to me? No matter what, I'm posting the same videos. I'm just now putting them in two separate spaces. So I'm really glad that I finally listened to the complaining because it was the right choice. It feels really good to be able to just lean fully into both instead of trying to always make sure I have the perfect balance of the two.
And like you still have it balanced actually pretty well. Like you do the same number of videos like per
I
week.
actually
Like
post more videos now. I was doing 4 a week, and since I switched, I now do 5 a week.
what is it? 2 manga and then 3 book?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good balance. I feel because one of them's just like your reading vlog, right?
Yes, yes. So, yeah, previously it was the review channel had once a week a spoiler review and once a week a vlog, and that was all. And then the other channel had one manga video a week and one book video a week. So now all the books are in one space. I still put 3 book videos up a week, but now I do one more manga video a week on top of that so that the manga channel has 2 videos a week going on.
That's a lot of work. You do a lot of work.
Dude, it is a lot of work. It's a lot of time.
Like, do you script your videos?
It depends. I script if I'm doing a deep dive, then I script, or at the very least I do like a bullet point outline so that I make sure I hit all the points I want to. But for the most part, the most scripting I do is just the bullet points because I think I do better when I have a free flowing conversation than I do trying to recite a script.
That makes sense. Yeah, none of your stuff ever feels like you're reading off a script. So it was
Good.
either like you're really good at reading off a script, or
No.
you don't read a script and it's just all like top of your head. Like, here's what I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, I try to for my channels, for both the channels, I really try to have the vibe of just like we're hanging out talking. And I think if I were to read a script, it wouldn't feel like a chill conversation. It would feel like a presentation. And I really don't want to come off like a YouTuber who has it all together because I don't. And people will be like, wow, she sucks. But if it's clear that I don't have it together and they're just like, hey, she's just somebody trying to talk to you, then, it's more acceptable that that's all I'm capable of doing.
You know what? Like, I feel like stuff like that works too, because like you're not the only one that kind of like leans into Like, I'm not 100% right every time. Like, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna get a
Sure,
name
sure, yeah.
wrong. Like, I'm not here to educate you on something. I'm just here to talk to you about something that I enjoyed.
Yeah, I just acknowledge, like, I realize that there are people that are really professional and really, really know the content that they're making. And then there's people like me where I'm like, I'm experiencing this for the first time. I'm brand new. Experience it with me. And that format works for me. Like, I'm never going to be the smartest person in the room because I'm too much of a variety person. I'm not like my whole identity isn't one series. So that means
I,
I'm going to know less
are
than
you
people who
sure
know it
about
more.
that?
Okay, you don't even know the name of my favorite series, so don't even talk to me right now.
It's the legends of Jean Ten.
Stop!
That's it, right?
No.
Hey, look,
The
at least I know their
Lies of
names.
Locke Lamora is a series that I do tend to talk about a lot, you're right. And One Piece.
I was gonna say, and One Piece.
And One Piece, that is a little bit of my personality.
But like, you've leaned into it, so
Yeah, that's true.
because at least one video every week is a One Piece video, right?
Yes.
Yeah, those are the ones I usually don't watch because I can't because I'm not caught up on
Because you're
One
still on
Piece.
Fishman Island.
Yeah, but I like I'll see them pop up in my feed, and I'm just like, oh, I didn't know those characters like were a thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll get there eventually.
Yep, you will. And then you'll cry with the rest of us.
Because I think I saw, was it after the If a Pirate I Must Be, you
Mhm.
did a video comparing him to Kuma, right?
Yes, that's right. And I remember too when we did that buddy read, one of the guys in the buddy read, he is caught up in One Piece too, and we were both like geeking out about the One Piece connections. And we were like, okay, we gotta.
Wait, that they're connected?
Yeah, right, right. We were like, we gotta tag these spoilers exactly right because we need to make sure we're not gonna spoil Cobb.
And like I didn't mind like finding that stuff out, like finding out that that was sort of the real world equivalent. Because like you see that a lot in One Piece. Like obviously there's like Blackbeard, like he's Blackbeard, like
Yeah, he's obviously a correlation with Blackbeard.
yeah, and like there's Kid and like so many others that I'm not thinking
Mhm.
of right now.
Yes. You've met the worst generation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know Anne Bonny,
Oh, right, right,
he's
right.
Jewelry Bonny, and Eustace Kid. Water D. Law
Who is
is
he supposed to be?
so Napoleon had two major fights that he's usually known for: the Waterloo, the battle at Waterloo, and shucks, I'm forgetting. What's the other one? Do you know off the top of your head?
Me? No.
You? Who else is in this room?
I didn't know if Corey was still there.
No, no, he's not here.
I didn't know if he was just like sitting there like listening to you like saying random things about things you've read.
Well, even if even if he was here, he would not be paying attention right now.
That's fair. That's fair. It's like she's talking about One Piece. I don't need any more of that.
Yes, he edits my videos. He's done with One Piece.
Oh, does he actually edit all of them?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. I don't think I could do 5 videos a week if I edited them myself.
That's you know what that makes sense because yeah, recording them probably takes more time than anyone thinks it does.
Yes. The filming and the editing, it can be time consuming. Well, and the planning. I don't know. I just Googled his the 5 battles that he lost, and I can't remember what else his name is based off of.
But he's based off of somebody.
Well, he's named after after some of the Napoleonic battles.
That is still interesting, and I would have never put that together unless like somebody told me.
Here I am. I am somebody.
There you go. You, have you thought about doing videos like comparing like One Piece pirates to like their real world counterparts? They'd probably
Wow, what an idea.
right.
Should I pay you for that idea?
If you want to Venmo me, I'm not.
I have one coming up for Jewelry Bonnie as well, for Anne Bonnie.
So I guess she gets more prominent later on.
Well, yeah, I mean, all of
Okay.
the worst generation get more.
Okay.
They're built up for a reason.
So they weren't built up that much where I was at. Like Law was the only one that really got any screen time.
Okay, but they all got like this big introduction, where it's like, okay, here's the worst generation, and it's like they're gonna. I don't know. I felt like it was clear that they were something.
But I will say the anime is paced not great. So
Sure, sure, sure.
like I feel like that was spread out a little bit and I never really got like the oh these guys are going to be like big deals. Like
Okay, fair enough.
I feel like, and I don't mind, like, that's such a minor thing, like, don't feel like you're spoiling it.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like Law I knew just because you see him places. Like, if you go to an anime convention, he is one of the 3 hats you see from One Piece. It's like
My
his
moody
hat,
boy.
yeah, it's his hat, Luffy's hat, obviously, and then either Chopper or Ace.
Mhm. I have a Law sweatshirt.
Like just him being grumpy.
No, it's his like his heart pirates symbols and like
Oh,
his
okay.
tattoos up and down
Well,
the arms and stuff.
well, you also have that Vegeta shirt, right?
I do have a Vegeta shirt, yes.
So you now you need a Sasuke shirt.
Oh, no, he's not my favorite anymore.
Oh wait, who's your favorite now? Is it Gara?
Guy with the eyeliner.
Gara, the sand guy.
Gara, he's my favorite at the moment.
Oh, he's so good. I love Gara.
I love Gara, right?
Him and Lee. Lee is just
Rock
the
Lee is
goofiest best.
amazing. Yes, I
Like,
agree. Now, I'm only on volume 13 though of Naruto, so
I don't know,
I'm
I'm
sure
basing it
there's
off of where you're at too.
right. Okay, yes. Yes, it was so Sasuke was my like initial, okay, you're interesting. And then he quickly got dethroned by Rock Lee, who then quickly got dethroned by Gaara.
But like Lee is just such like, I don't know, he's just like the happy, goofy best friend.
He's so sweet. I just didn't expect to love him so much when I first met him.
It's like he pops up looking goofy. He completely
Yeah.
embarrasses Sasuke in front of his friends.
Yeah. Well, and he's another middle school crush. Like, oh good, you just randomly are in love with
Sakura.
What?
Sakura?
Sakura? Yeah, yeah. You're just randomly in love with Sakura. Great. Another one of these. But then it was the squirrel when he had that scene with the squirrel that I do it.
And then he has the fight and he takes off the leg weights.
Yes! Right?
Have you watched
Very
that yet?
Goku-esque. What's that?
Have you watched that scene at all yet? Like, has anyone sent that scene to you?
I'm only on I just finished episode 5 of the anime, so I'm way behind where I am in the manga.
Oh, so I didn't realize you were actually watching it also.
Just, yeah, little by little.
So I'll have to find a clip of that and I'll send it to you later. You've read it already, so you know what's coming.
Mhm.
That scene where like Lee is up on the thing and Guy gives him the thumbs up and he takes the leg weights off hits so much better in the anime because
Nice.
you see the actual like you see these weights hit the ground and the explosion they make and it's like
Ah.
what are you doing? Looks like
Yeah.
when Goku does it, it's like, oh, this is like 100 pounds. When
Mhm.
Lee did it, like they're insinuating it's like tons.
Killer. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited. I imagine the fights will land better in the anime for this because like okay, so for Dragon Ball, I didn't watch any of the anime except for when I filmed my reviews for it, I looked up certain fights so that I could include it in those videos. But with Naruto, I'm actually doing the anime and I don't feel like Dragon Ball needed, at least for me, it didn't need I didn't feel like I needed to see anything in the anime because Toriyama's paneling is just so impeccable.
Yeah.
But with Naruto, I've been very spoiled by Dragon Ball's paneling. And so now I read Dragon Ball fights and I'm like, oh, this is this is very different. And I have to readjust to like standard paneling instead of Dragon Ball paneling. So I do
Yeah.
think that I'm gonna like the anime actually bringing it to life more.
Yeah. And so I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z. Like that was
Uh-huh.
on like after school when I was like between 12 and 15.
Uh-huh.
So that like I would go home and I'd watch it. I actually didn't read the manga until this summer, like when everyone was reading it.
Yeah.
And like reading through that, I'm like, wow, like this, like some of this is translated like paid like scene for scene into the anime, but it's so clean. Like,
Mhm.
you talked about it when you did your videos and just like on
Mhm.
Discord, in that early tournament stuff where like
Mhm.
the one where Goku hits somebody 3 times and like he says
Yes.
it and like if you look at the panel, there are 3
Yes.
distinct
You
lines
can
for his
see
arm.
it. Right, you can see it before it gets explained because it's so clear. And every move is so clean and clear of what's going on. It's just brilliant.
Yeah, like Toriyama just he he is so well like referenced or whatever you want to say for manga because of that. Like
Mhm.
he's like famous for just character designs in general. Like he used to do a lot of video game character designs and stuff too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like there's a game series Dragon Quest that I know
Oh,
he did
I've heard
some
of
for
that.
that. He did stuff for Chrono Trigger and some stuff that came out like in the early mid 2000s too.
Uh-huh.
You can tell it's Toriyama. They all look like Goku.
That is a very distinct style.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. Like you look at that, like those fights, and then you look at like the Naruto fights, and they're not bad, but they don't. So much is happening that like you can tell something's happening, but it's not necessarily. You're not realizing how heavy those weights are that Lee drops. Like there's not
Yes,
that like
that's true.
gravitas to it.
Yes, that's very true. But also, I just think with Dragon Ball, every move is so clear, and I think I'm not super well versed in manga. I'm still getting used to a lot of things, but with One Piece as well as with Naruto, a lot of times I can get lost in the fight, and I don't pick up on every single detail. But with Dragon Ball, it's like every detail is made so clear.
You definitely got spoiled with Dragon Ball.
I know.
Like, is My Hero Academia on your list at all?
It is, but it's not super high up.
So I think it's a really like nice story. Um, but and the art is good except the action.
Yeah, that's a shame. It's tough because I read Dragon Ball so early in my manga reading career, so now I've just been so spoiled that I have to get back to used to what's more common.
I feel like you keep saying like early and that you're new to it. You've got a lot of manga under your belt at this point.
I mean, maybe for someone who hasn't grown up with it, but I didn't grow up with it. So like people have read so much. Like when I talk to other One Piece creators, I feel like every series they are already familiar with and have grown up with. And I'm just like, I'm reading this for the very first time. I don't know anything about Naruto, so here we go.
But I think that's the thing. Like you're talking to other people, even like in your own Discord. Like so many of the people in like in those channels are like people that like they live and breathe manga.
Right.
So like yeah, when you're looking at them, it's like oh man, I've read like nothing. Like
Exactly.
and absolutely, there are a million other things out there, but like you've read a lot.
I guess so. Maybe if you're not a weeb, then it probably seems like a lot. But as a new weeb, I'm like, oh, I'm so young. I don't know anything.
And you've read a lot of the like you haven't read all the big ones, but like you've read a bunch of bigger, well-known things too. Like
Hmm.
because like you're caught up on One Piece, you've done all the Dragon Ball, you're doing Naruto. I think you did like Vinland and Vineland sagas or whatever they're called, right? I always forget the names
Vin
of those two.
no, yeah, Vinland Saga and Vagabond.
Thank you. There you go. And then there were other ones I'm drawing a blank on, like the To Your Eternity or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
that wasn't great.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. I've read
Yona.
quite a few. Yona of the Dawn. Yep, I've read quite a few series. It's true, but I just still feel behind.
You gotta lean into being the manga expert.
No, that would be terrible for me. If I start acting like I've got a big head, people are gonna hate me because everybody knows I know less than them.
You got to do like that alter ego that like some people do.
No, I can't do it. No.
Like put on a different pair of glasses for a video and like do your hair different. Like maybe wear a hat or something. And like you don't do lower thirds on your videos, right?
What?
You don't do lower thirds on your videos?
What?
Like Daniel does it. Like when he smacks his thing away.
Oh, oh, what? Just
Those are called lower thirds.
like putting text on the screen? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but like at the bottom where it's like your name or like your like handle on social media. You don't do that, right? I'm not like misremembering.
Oh, no, I don't.
Well, you do it for this and you spell your name with a U instead of an E.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like different glasses, like different hairstyle, you and your name, you're a different Murphy.
I could be the Murph when I'm being the manga expert. Just really hype myself up.
You just spout nonsense about manga like you're an expert on it and just wait for the chaos to ensue.
I already hate my alter ego. She's obnoxious. Let's cancel her.
It's too early for that. You need to do at least 2 videos.
Oh gosh.
It'd be a great April Fool's joke.
Just turn into an egotistical manga nerd.
Yeah. It's a shame I mean, like, and it's not a shame because it would be so much work, but like, can you imagine like privating a bunch of your videos and just releasing a video where it's just like, you're this like super obnoxious like manga nerd and like that's the video on your channel? Like you just rebooted everything.
Well, actually, I know the series better than you do, so maybe you should sit down and let me speak.
Exactly, and just like total nonsense.
No,
Like
I hate
when
it.
Goku fought Sasuke, everything just fell apart for the series.
Just make things up.
Yeah, just like put characters together from series that have nothing to do with each other.
Oh my goodness. That would be really funny, but it would also really make people angry.
Oh, it would. And that's kind of the shame with like YouTube is like you could have fun with that, but there would be those like replies of people who like didn't get the joke.
Oh, absolutely, it's true. One of the One Piece creators that I'm friends with, we have like a joking feud going on. And people take it so seriously. Like even though
Is it the
we're
one that you kicked out of the chat the one time?
yeah.
Okay.
Even though we're super obvious about it, like this is clearly a joke, people are still like so offended on mostly on his behalf. Like people are super offended at me because he's too nice. And so I lean into it. And then people are like, she's such a jerk. And he's like, guys, this is clearly a joke.
Which is funny because like if you watch your videos, anyone listening is now going to know this. You have like two different personalities. You have your like video personality, and then you have like what I assume is your real personality.
What? I think my video personality is my real personality. The difference is when I film a video, it's just me. So you only see me talking to me. But when I'm hanging out with other people, you get to see the banter.
I think even when you're with other people, you come off a little more wholesome.
When I'm with other people, I come off more wholesome.
No, no, not more than normal, but like more than like how you are on like Discord.
Oh, yeah. Well, when I'm on Discord, I'm just hanging out with my people, so I'm goofing off a ton.
Well, exactly. That's what I mean. Like so, like you have that like public persona that like is in your videos, and I feel like anyone that's watching that stuff, it's like, oh no, like she's not a mean person.
But I'm a mean person on my Discord. Is that what you're getting at?
Absolutely.
No, it's the banter.
The
It's
amount of times
the
you threaten to ban people
yeah, but it never happens.
because you don't know how to. That's
Oh my goodness.
other than like your top 10 that you just did. What's
Uh-huh.
like what is like a book that wasn't on there that you really liked this year?
A book that I didn't like?
No, that you did like that just didn't make your list.
I think I almost put the Temeraire first book on there.
Okay, that's a good choice.
His Majesty's Dragon, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one just barely didn't make the cut.
And I guess that was like an end of the year one too. So that would have like just squeaked in there.
Yeah, there were a couple actually that just squeaked in.
You like I obviously you do like your vlogs all year and reviews and spoilers and all that stuff. Do you keep like a tally as you read stuff of just like not a tally is the wrong way to put it, but like do you just like star things? So you're like, okay, this is one that's like definitely up for like my top list of the year.
No, I really want to be more organized in 2024. I, for someone who aggressively plans as much as I do, I'm not an organized person. Like, I like planning for the future, but the past is just like chaos. So once I finish a book, I'm just like, and now it's done. Bye. And so then when it comes time to make lists like this, I have to go through the spreadsheet that Lynn keeps, and I have to go through every single book. And what I did for my top 10 list is I just went through every single book and everything that I thought could potentially make the list. I just put on a Google Doc and then had to whittle it down, which is why it ended up being 15. But in 2024, it'd be really cool if I actually helped myself out and did it more like that,
But
but it probably won't
maybe just
happen.
put a post-it note on the book when you finish it of like, I really liked this one. I should remember this for the end of the year.
Right, except the problem is in 2024, I'm trying to purchase fewer books and I want to
No,
use the library more.
no, there was a discussion about that earlier. We recommended you buy more books.
I know you did. That's not helpful for my wallet.
It's a business expense.
I mean, technically that's true, but it seems silly to me. But the library is right there, and half the books I read I could get for free, and I purchase them. That's dumb.
See, I actually thought you got more from the library.
I no, I really don't.
Like a lot of times, like I see you say like I went to the library and I have these 3 books or whatever.
I don't know if a lot of times is correct. Like occasionally I come home with a library book.
Maybe when I notice it, it seems to be the library.
Maybe.
That could be it. Because you don't do a lot of ebooks, right?
See, that's what I'm trying to lean into more now. You're right. I don't do a lot of ebooks, but I'm trying to do more ebooks because my library has a huge ebook catalog, and I just don't choose, even though I have a Kindle Paperwhite, I don't choose ebooks because I would rather physically be reading. So I just purchase everything, which is dumb. That's a waste of my money. So I'm trying to do more ebooks through the library.
It unfortunately is a waste of money.
Yes, it is.
Because then how are you going to buy like the really cool set of books when you see that if all your money has gone to the other books?
No, I'm trying to buy less books. But okay. So my bookshelves are full. Now, nonfictions I'm going to continue to buy because my nonfiction bookshelf is a little bit sparse. But fiction book, that shelf is so beyond full. I have stacks of books on the floor. I don't
Is that
need
the one
more
that's like
books.
in your video backgrounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can see like the top of that is like stacked with things in your video.
Yes. I don't even have outward facing books anymore. Everything is inward facing. Like the spines only are showing, and there's books stacked on top of the shelves, and there's books stacked next to the shelves.
Now,
I don't need to buy more books.
Have you considered just buying more shelves?
I only have so much space in my house. That's the thing, is those shelves that you see, those aren't even all my shelves. I have a whole nother bookcase, and I still have books stacked on the floor.
That's a lot. That is a lot.
It's obscene.
No, do you only keep the stuff that like you like especially like, and then like?
Yes, Cobb. Yes, the library. I literally fill my trunk full of books and give them to the library a couple times a year because anything I don't like, I don't keep. Why do I have so many books?
You like a lot of books.
Yes, I do. I need to buy less.
Yeah, because you don't really talk negative about stuff all that often.
Not anymore. I used to talk about everything that I read, to include going on full-on rants for the things that I really don't like. I just don't find it satisfying. I feel I bum people out. I mean, like, some people revel in the chaos of it, but I have stopped. I now don't. If I don't like something, I just let it die. My Discord is pretty much, y'all are the only ones that see me kind of rant.
But even then, like I have the Discord open. Obviously, like that's how we're doing this. There are 2 books in the list of channels that you DNF'd this month.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't really rant about either of them, though. Like you're
That's
just like,
so
this isn't
untrue. Go into the channel for To Ride on Hell's Chasm.
See, I wasn't going to name names. You're just.
I called that book torture.
Okay, yes. Like you did not enjoy it, but like it didn't go on long, and I guess part of that is because no one else read it, so you didn't have anybody else like egging you on.
I didn't roast it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like go look at like some of the stuff Lynn says.
Right.
Like she knows how to rant.
She does. Or slag. She knows how to rant.
I never see Slag rant about things. I don't believe it.
You know what? That's because when she rants, she usually DMs people and she goes off.
Oh, what a jerk.
I know. How rude of her to keep her rants away from other people. Or Frosty. Did you see Frosty's rant last night in the Naruto or 2 nights ago in the Naruto channel?
I don't think so.
He lost his mind. It was so funny. He's been reading Naruto and he's been hating it.
I think he's watching it, which is a different.
Yes, he's doing both. He's only watched a couple episodes.
I didn't know he was actually reading the manga now because like.
Yeah, he is. And he's in the same place as I am. And he was mad at me because my rant wasn't good enough for a part that he hated. And he went off. It was so funny.
I did miss that. I will have to try and get the search on the Discord app to work later and find that.
My problem is I no matter what it is, if I don't like it, someone else likes it. So I can express why I don't like something, but I don't feel like I have permission. That's the wrong verbiage. I don't feel like it would be kind for me to just lose it over a series because it will be a bummer to someone. So generally, I will express my distaste and then I will move on. But I have had times where I'll express, okay, I didn't like this, and then I'll like call a friend. Like I did that with The Promised Neverland. I didn't like the ending of that. And then I just expressed it calmly in the channel, and then I called a friend and yelled at him for like 30 minutes.
That's yeah, and you know what, that does make sense. Like being a public figure, like you don't necessarily want to be out there like just crapping all over other people's stuff.
Right.
Because
I don't want to
alienate
fans.
Me though, I don't care.
Sure you don't, but But
Like,
it
have you seen some of the stuff I say about books that like you in particular love?
Yes, I have. But I don't care if you hate my favorites. But people get attached to their stuff, and because the server is built around me, if I am crapping all over something that somebody loves, it just doesn't feel nice.
Oh yeah, no, like I completely understand that. You made a joke about it before, about being an influencer, but like in a way you are. Like you influence what people read.
Sure.
If somebody it like if that to I have already forgot what the book was called, To Ride Hell's Chasm, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that was like a suggestion, like it wasn't, I don't think, from anyone on the server. Like
No,
if
it
that was like
wasn't.
if that was a suggestion and like it got it and you're just like, "Oh, this is
Right.
horrendous." Like that
Exactly. And most of what I read is people's suggestions. So if I'm just like going in off of something that someone else has influenced me to read, that's going to make that person feel bad.
honestly, like in a video, like people don't necessarily like it's different if like you've read something that's known to be bad. Like
Sure.
it kind of like Mystery Science Theater sort of stuff. Like watching something, reading something that is like just accepted as bad to do like a joke video on it. Like
Sure.
that's different than like you reading something that's like a real thing and then being like, this was awful. Like nothing
Mhm.
about this was good.
Yeah, exactly. There are books that I read and I have a great time with how bad they are. Like earlier this year, we read Eye of Argon together.
Oh, that was great.
It was so much fun. But when I went to make a video on it, even though this is known to be a terrible book, I did research on the author and learned that he was kind of screwed over and it like wasn't his fault that it was published the way that it was. And then I was like, I don't want to pile on now. You know, like it never seems to be a positive thing for me to do that.
Yeah, and like it was different like talking to like the six people that read that and like everyone kind of like
Right.
joking
It's
about it and leaning into it.
Yes.
But
Yes, it's different when it's in a small, isolated space versus me going onto my channel with 400,000 people that are going to see me just roasting something.
almost 500,000.
That's not even true.
Look, we're manifesting it.
Okay.
That's how that works.
According to your math, apparently.
Look, math is definitive, so it's got to be right.
But you keep changing the rules, so how is it definitive?
I don't make up the rules. I just enforce them.
Okay.
It's real simple.
So you say.
But yeah, that actually does make a ton of sense. Like, and not just that. Like, do you want to spend like, let's say like a 15-minute video takes you an hour to record?
Yeah, it just depends on what video it is. Like if it's a really research-based video, like when I do my videos on a historic figure and comparing them to One Piece characters, those ones usually take me a super long time. But a standard video where I'm just talking about something that I've read, I do stumble over my words and have to retake, but those videos flow pretty easily.
Yeah. So like, let's say a 15-minute video is like 45 minutes. Then like add an extra half hour of like recording time. Like, do you want to spend 45 minutes like just being a bummer on something, or like do you want to spend 45 minutes like talk about something that you really enjoyed?
Yes. And yeah, that's a great way of saying it. And people do enjoy, like everybody loves a good roast, but I just find that I enjoy more talking about the things that I love.
Yeah, most of the time, like that comes through in the videos. Like even stuff that like during like Dragon Ball, you could tell that you were having a great time reading it when you would talk about it in your vlogs. But then like you'd hit those parts that you didn't like the Roshi stuff and things like
Hmm.
that. You would have like a little mini rant about it, but it
Yeah.
wasn't this series is trash. It's this thing sucks.
Yeah.
And then you'd go back to be like, but Goku was the best.
Right.
You have a balance to it. I feel like that balance is hard.
Yeah. I've always heard the sandwich method, and that's kind of what I try to subscribe to, where it's like you say something positive, then you give your negative, but then you finish it with a positive again. So if there is something that I need to like this needs to be addressed. This was awful. I need to speak about it. Then I'll talk about something good, then I'll get my little rant in and then I'll be like, "But Goku's cool."
And yeah, that makes sense. Like if I don't like something, I'm just like, oh no, like everything was bad. Like full stop.
Right.
This thing has no redeeming qualities. Even if like I liked 3/4 of it, I'm like, no, like this 1/4 was so bad, the whole thing is bad. Just don't waste your time.
That's so funny. I think I can be that way. I think I can be. It depends on if the rest of it really was good, then I can easily separate it. But if the rest of it was just okay, and then you have this really awful thing, then it's just like everything sucks. I hate everything.
Like to ride Hell's Chasm.
Well, I didn't get far enough into To Ride in Hell's Chasm to actually give any sort of real thoughts on it. All I can say is that the prose was like trudging through sludge.
I read the first page and that was all I got out of it.
You know what? Good for you. That's about all you need.
You DNF'd it. I'm like, it can't be that bad. So I read the first page. I'm like, oh, all right, never mind. And,
Hey, I put quotes in the channel. You didn't even have to go that far. You just had to read what I wrote.
well, like I saw the quotes. I'm like, that can't be the whole thing, right?
It is.
It's a shame. Yeah, honestly, like I feel like December was that month where you're like, I'm gonna like read less, and then like you pick 2 books that like were like immediate DNFs that like just freed up your list even more.
Yeah, but then I got sick and I read way less, and I'm still behind on my reading, even though I should be way ahead.
Yeah, you're still not done Dandelion Dynasty.
I was supposed to finish it tonight, and then I remembered I had this podcast.
Sorry, I honestly wasn't sure if you remembered or not because I messaged you like 7 hours ago.
Yeah, and I only just saw it right before the podcast started, and I was like, oh, I'm here.
Yeah, do you just get bombarded with DMs from people?
Yes.
I kind of figured. Like I said before, like you're very approachable.
Yes. And I want that. I don't want people to feel bad if they have something that they want to say to me. I want them to feel free to speak to me. But it does mean that sometimes it takes me a long time to get to every DM because it can be a little bit overwhelming.
Back when we were reading The Magicians,
Yeah.
before there was a channel for it, I remember DMing you because you were the only other person reading it at that point. And like I'm just like, I am so sorry to bother you.
Right. Yes. Yes.
This is what?
Yeah.
I just needed to like say that to somebody else that was a human that like knew what I was talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a lot of what the whats in the Magician series.
Yeah, poor Quincy.
No! Poor me for having to deal with Quincy.
I meant more poor Quincy for just being like just a pile of garbage for 98% of that book.
For reference, we know his name is Quentin for any fans of the series. And also to be clear, I love the series so much. I just hate Quentin.
Yeah, you didn't make it through the show though, right?
No, I actually forgot about it. I'm not good at watching things.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, you read enough that like finding time to watch shows is probably like
Yep.
on the back burner,
Yep.
especially when you're reading like 4,000-page books every month.
Well, I don't think I read that much.
I don't know. I mean, Dandelion Dynasty, the last book is 1,000 pages.
Yeah, but it's taken me like a month and a half to read it.
And then have you started Republic of Thieves yet?
Yes, I'm actually halfway done with it. I just haven't been updating the channel like I should.
Wow, and you called me a fake fan.
I'm gonna do it. I've got notes. I just haven't typed them up. They're in my brain.
But like that's also a long book, even if you have read it before.
Yes, that is true. And I didn't account for it when I was planning December. Plus, I added a couple of books that weren't originally in the TBR.
Oh, which ones?
The fall was a spontaneous ad, which was really short.
That was 98 pages though.
Okay, but it was still spontaneous. And then there's one that I'm actually not talking about in the server. I just have a group DM because my niece is reading it.
Dare you?
Shush, you wouldn't like it. It doesn't matter. You wouldn't want to read it. My niece, it's a YA romance, and my niece is reading it, so I'm reading it so that we can talk about it.
I don't know. I read Fourth Wing and the sequel, and I absolutely loved those books.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, well, it's called Kisses and Croissants. Get on it.
I'm probably not going to. If you're making it through that, you should give Fourth Wing a try.
No.
No, that's fair. Look, I will still just keep recommending pirate books.
There you go. It's so easy to get me if you just pitch a nautical book.
I've told people that. Like when people say like my book never gets picked, I'm like, does it have a boat on it or a dragon?
Yeah.
Find a book with a boat on the cover. It will probably get picked.
That's so true. I'm very predictable.
Which, you know what? We haven't talked about boats enough.
Boats.
Why do you like the nautical books so much?
I love the ocean.
Is that it? You just like the seafaringness of it?
Yeah, I just like the ocean a whole lot.
Okay. See, I like the ocean as like I don't like being at the ocean, but I like the idea of the ocean.
I hope to someday be able to move by the ocean and live my life in the water.
Just get a boat.
I
Just get like a nice like 18th century schooner and just live on a boat.
think you're confused about how much boats cost. If you're just like, just get a boat.
I mean, I didn't say buy a boat. I said get a boat. There are
We're pirating. Okay,
yeah.
that I could get down with.
Look, we just read the If a Pirate I Must Be.
Uh-huh.
That man in the span of like 4 years took like 26 boats.
Oh, he became captain after like 6 months of being on the ship.
Yeah, but over the span of like a couple of years, he then went ahead and like took like 20 other boats.
Mm-hmm.
Like every
Okay.
time they found a boat, he just kind of took it and just like, this is mine now.
All right, I can do that.
Yeah.
Just hop in a boat and be like, I own this. This is mine.
Like, who's going to stop you? The owner? They're not there.
Probably the police.
Once you get into international waters, you're safe. I've
Okay.
learned that from movies.
All right, and then like the parenting gig, I'm just done with that.
No, you bring them with you.
Bring the
need
kids. Bring the kids. Yeah.
you need people to help you like with the sales and stuff.
So I just basically need to be like the pirate in Red Seas Under Red Skies.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or oh wait, no, same book. Never mind. I was thinking of what was that other one about the Chinese pirate?
So the pirate's name is Cheng Ji, but like the historical pirate that book was based off of. I don't remember the fiction book that we read though. I can't remember.
I'm looking at like my list. That was like June-ish, right?
No, I think we read that in like January.
Deep as
It
the
was-
Sky, Red as the Sea.
That's the one.
And it was June.
What?
Yeah, that was June.
Wow. I thought
You
that
know what
was
got read
okay.
in January?
I thought
The
it got read in
Senlin
January.
books. The Senlin books were
Ew.
read in January.
Yeah, that's another series that people still ask. They're like, when are you going to read the next Senlin book? And I'm like, oh man, that is so far gone.
Did you DNF the second one or the third one?
The third. I pushed through the second. Barely.
I'm going to read the third one or the fourth one.
Okay, well, good luck.
I don't want to, but I own it, so I feel like I have to.
Wow. That is not the life I live.
Yeah. Look, I finished the Oak Island book too, remember?
Oh, yeah, I hated that book. Oh my gosh.
It was not good, but I finished it because I bought it.
That book was some kind of torture.
You know, I think that the thing is like you buy physical books, so like if you don't like it, it's like, well, I'm going to donate it to the library. Like I'm not getting anything back for it, but I'm giving this to somebody else that can use it.
Sure.
I buy stuff ebook or audiobook. I can't do that. So,
Yeah, it's just wasted.
yeah, so it's like I spent money on this. I'm going to just power through it at some point.
Okay, but you could consider it this way. I've already wasted my money on this. Do I really want to also waste my time?
Well, so like a book like the last Senlin book, and actually I did this with Oak Island too. I crank the listen speed way up, and I just do audio only.
How high do you crank it up?
I'll do like 2.5 times.
Okay. So you get through it pretty quickly when you go that fast?
Yeah, like maybe like 2.75, because you figure 2 times cuts a book in half.
That's still so much of your time. That's so much of your time listening to a book that you don't even enjoy at a pace that isn't even enjoyable.
But I get it done, and then I can
Rob!
complain about it.
Okay, well, I do understand the appeal of being able to rant.
Yeah, I won't do it straight through. Like I've done that a couple times. Like I did the last argument of King. No, before they are hanged.
Uh-huh.
That's the second first law book, right?
Uh-huh.
I did that entire book in a day.
What? How? That's like 500 pages.
I only audio, and I had it like 2.5 times.
Yeah, that's one of the books that you have really bad taste on.
I don't like it at all.
I know, you're wrong.
I've seen videos with like Abercrombie. He seems like such a nice guy, and I
I
want to like the book
know.
so much.
I got to interview him. He's so fun.
He seems like such a swell guy, and I'm like,
Yeah.
but I hate your books.
Wow. Get to Best Served Cold. I think you'll like Best Served Cold.
So I have a bet with Udi. So he has to finish the second and third live ship books by March 1st. If he does that, I will read the third first law book.
Just skip the third first law and get to Best Served Cold.
But if he finishes all of Realm of the Elderlings by the end of the year, I will read the rest of First Law, like the whole.
The Age of Madness trilogy. Okay, well, I'm rooting for Udi. I want you to get to the best of Abercrombie. I do agree that his original trilogy isn't as strong, and it's not fair of me to be like, oh, just get through 3 500-page books, and then you get to the good stuff. Because I did enjoy all of them, but also you should get to Best Served Cold.
You know what it is? Like I found like I'm definitely like a character reader. Like I want to read about characters.
Hmm.
I didn't like anyone in those books though. It's like
Hmm.
you know how like there are books with like even villains that you're just like, that's a great villain. Like I don't care that they're the bad guy. They're great. I hate them and I love it.
Yes.
I don't even get that out of those first two books.
Is that how you feel about Gia?
Oh, she's so bad. Such a great character. So well written. Like, but God, she's awful.
He's awful. Oh, there was a really funny 1-star review I came across today. I need to put that in the Discord.
For that book.
Yeah, for Speaking Bones.
Oh, who would dare do that?
Give Speaking Bones 1 star.
Yeah,
Apparently a fair few.
that is infuriating. How much do you have left in that?
I only have like 100 pages. I could probably knock it out. No, I probably won't finish it tonight. No, probably tomorrow I'll have it done.
Oh, that's good. So as far as like those first three go, like Wall of Storms was like the number one for me. I loved that one.
Yeah.
Speaking Bones is like right up there with it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Like I really I liked Grace of Kings, but I thought it was a little slow at first because it was just all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same thing happened with Veiled Throne. It was kind of like all over the place for like the first like third or so before like it focused on that cooking competition that I adored.
The cooking competition was way later. It was like the
Was
very
it that
end of
much
the book.
later?
Yeah. Yeah, the first third of Veiled Throne was more in the like settling of remember the group of people that were kind of merging two cultures?
Right, right. Because I remember that one also introduced like some new characters, but years before.
Right. Right.
But yeah, then Speaking Bones was like Wall of Storms. It's like here's a very like focused story that just ties everything up so well.
Mm. Yeah, Speaking Bones really has been phenomenal. I'm at a point where it's really hard to put it down.
Yeah, and then you end up staying up too late.
Yeah.
You read like a bunch of things at once too, right?
Mhm.
Do you actually like set yourself like I'm going to read like I know you have days for like manga.
For books, I try to have end dates. Like I want this book done by this day. And then um I just kind of like section it off. I know about how much I need to read each day in order to meet those goals. And I very rarely actually keep those goals. It just helps me to have guidelines on things. So no, I don't have like Speaking Bones is on Thursdays. It's not like that. It's more just I know about how much I want to read every day.
Okay. So you like jump around between the same like different books in the same day even?
Mhm.
Okay. I do the same thing, but like I always get called weird.
Well, that's because you read like 12 books at once, Cobb.
I mean, how many do you read at once?
3 tops.
Have you thought about doing like 8 or 9?
No, I'm not crazy.
But think about how much more you would read in a year.
Right, but if I have weekly reading vlogs, then there has to be some sense of focus.
Well, your vlogs would be just utter chaos.
Exactly. Exactly. I had vlogs where I was reading like 6 books at once and I never finished one in a vlog. I just bounced around in all of them and I was like, this cannot be enjoyable to watch. So I made myself focus down.
I guess, you know what? I don't think I ever really like in your vlogs a lot of times you will have like I started a book, I'm middle of the book, I finished the book. Like
Exactly.
throughout the course of a vlog or like if it's a big one like maybe across 2.
Yes, that is exactly the goal because just from a viewer's perspective, I think that can be the only satisfying way to watch it.
No, actually that makes sense cuz like if I'm not watching every video you post, I might miss a vlog.
Exactly.
Like, oh, well, like what did you think of the end of Speaking Bones?
Exactly. You don't get a through line. You don't get to know. And plus, two, if you're not interested in every single book that I'm talking about, then you might not. If one book bleeds into many vlogs, then you might not click on every single one. Or, like, it's just satisfying to see the beginning and the end in one video.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's funny because like you say it, and then like I realize like you do it in your video, but like watching your videos, I'm just like, oh yeah, no, like she's just talking about this book.
Good. See, I want it to feel natural for you, the reader, but I also want it to feel there's enough strategy behind it that you also feel satisfied at the end. Like if I don't think about that stuff, then you're not going to feel satisfied.
Yeah, which makes sense. So for something like, will you do a vlog for Speaking Bones, or will that just be like a spoiler review or something?
Yeah, Speaking Bones is going to be in this vlog. That's actually why I missed my last vlog because I read that nonfiction and then I buckled down on Speaking Bones, but I didn't complete it. And it wasn't going to be satisfying in my eyes anyway to talk about some offshoot nonfiction that no one's heard of and no one cares about, plus partial thoughts on another book.
There's like 6 people that watch your videos that would care. I'm one of them.
Okay, so that's true, but I want to create a satisfying video. So I need to also talk about the conclusion to a series in that video, but not just partially, fully.
Yeah. So have you so and this is just the impression I get from your vlogs. Like you record them like kind of as you go, right? Like you don't like
Mhm.
sit down and like just jump around your house to record different segments all at once.
No, I do check-ins throughout the week.
Okay, that's the impression I've gotten, but like movie magic.
Right. I just lie. I just lie all the time. So it's 2 days later.
Yeah, you throw on a different shirt, like sit on the sit on like your bed or something to do one clip. Like no one's gonna know.
Right.
So have you been like just like doing like little check-ins for Dandelion Dynasty like for the last like month as you've been reading it, or did you kind of wait till you had like a big chunk to do a check-in?
Yeah, I waited until I got about halfway, did a check-in, and now whenever I finish it, I'll do my final check-in.
Okay, that's a lot of book to try and remember.
It is, but the thing is that it's the conclusion of a series that's about 4,000 pages total. So there's only so much spoiler-free you can say.
That's true. Yeah, like you can't really dive into even the characters in a vlog, can you? Like
No,
without
because
like spoiling something, because
yeah, without spoiling book one, because even by the end of book one, so much has changed.
that is a weird series for that. Because and I feel like most series are like that. Like by the second, third book, it's like, oh well, I know that character's alive still. Then
Yeah. The second and third, especially the third book, Veil Throne was tricky to talk about spoiler free, but Speaking Bones is kind of easy because people mostly want to know, was it satisfying? Was it worth it? Is it worth that many pages? And I can easily answer that. I can easily talk about themes and conclusions and um like emotions. I don't have to talk about this character arc was satisfying.
yeah, and it's nice that it like you're not doing spoilers, so that does kind of like condense what you have to worry about.
Mhm.
'Cause you do like the tab thing, don't you? Like in your books, like little colored things.
Oh, sometimes, not usually.
Thought I've seen you like wave books and videos before that had like tabs.
Yeah, I definitely do sometimes. I annotate everything that I read, which is
Okay,
another
so you
reason
can like
why.
flip back through stuff like
Yes.
when you're getting ready to do your video. It's easy to like go back through and
Yes.
like look for stuff you underlined or something.
Yes. Yeah. And that's extremely helpful for me, especially if I'm doing a spoiler review. Just flipping through and seeing all the scenes that I've marked up. It's like, okay, well, I know what I need to talk about.
Yeah, because seeing how well you remember names and stuff like that, like how well you remember like plot points when you're talking about them, it's like, well, you must have something going on.
Yeah, I wish I was a better note taker, but it's actually just flipping through and seeing what I've underlined.
But like that's, I mean, a 1,000-page book, obviously, it's not like a quick thing to do, but like
Right.
an average like 500-600 page book, like that's not that long. Like
Hmm.
15 minutes of flipping, be like, I underlined this a whole bunch and this. Like these are the two
Yeah.
things I can talk about for 15 minutes.
Yeah, and it's helpful because I have to reread everything I've underlined, so then a lot of stuff is more fresh in my mind.
And it probably does it help you like remember the stuff that happened around it too?
Yeah. I mean, I have an impressively terrible memory, so stuff gets lost, but
I've
yes.
I've seen that.
You see it in real time.
Though I don't know that I feel like with Naruto, you've actually like actively forgotten a name like as you were reading it.
Yeah, I'm so bad with names.
I mean, the manga names are and fantasy, like manga and fantasy, the two things that like are
The
your
two
sort of
things I
like
read.
yeah, like your bread and butter for this are like you
Yeah.
don't get a lot of Sean's and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, okay, so but Cobb, I'm dyslexic. So names are hard because if it's not like Fred, then the things get jumbled so easily for me, especially if it's not a familiar word. And so usually when I'm reading and I come across a name, my brain just goes like it just mumbles whatever. And I know who you're talking about, but I don't take the time to really try to figure that name out. So when it comes time for me to use a name, I realize this person has never been more than a mumble.
I do the same thing with names though.
Do you?
Yeah, if it's like a name or like especially like in fantasy books where there's like cities and stuff like that that just have like just gibberish is their names. Like
Yeah.
there are too many consonants next to each other, like they don't make sense. I don't try and sound them out or like say them. I'm just like, yeah, that's blah blah blah.
Mhm.
And when I see those letters together in the book, I'm like, I know that place from 7 chapters ago. Still don't know what you're called though.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
I don't know. I think it's because you're reading it. Obviously, like dyslexia, like plays into it. Like that is an easier way to like identify stuff. But you're reading it, so like you don't have to know how to pronounce it if you're reading it, right?
Exactly.
I guess for you, it's a little bit different because you then speak about it in detail. So
Mhm.
like you want to at least have like a gist of how to say it. But I feel like you've at least leaned into I'm going to say this stuff wrong and it doesn't matter. Like y'all know what I'm saying. We'll get through it.
Again, I have a very kind corner of the internet, and so they just meme all the time. Like when I mispronounce something, they're just like, "Oh, there's Murphy," and they like make a gag of it. So I'm very grateful that people are gracious.
Like that's how Quincy happened.
That's how Quincy happened.
Like what you do with names, I feel like everybody does that. I
Yeah.
bet if you put a poll up and said like, do you actively read the names or do you just sort of substitute random sounds? It would be an astounding yes.
Yeah. You're probably right. It probably has less to do with my dyslexia and more just reader probs.
Like dyslexia, like I'm gonna sound dumb, but like that's like what like letters like don't necessarily look right to you, right? Or like out of order sort of thing.
Um, yeah, yeah, it's like it's hard to describe very quickly, but things just get scrambled and almost become illegible where it's like you're reading a sentence and the words will scramble up and so it doesn't make sense.
That makes it even crazier the amount that you read and the speed at which you get through things.
Yeah, I nobody ever believes me, but I'm really not a fast reader. It's just that I devote a lot of time to reading.
Obviously time helps, but like you definitely must have some amount of speed to finish like the amount of books you do in a month and still like you have a family. Like it's not like you're just like living in a cabin in the woods by yourself and just spending
Sure.
literally 8 to 12 hours a day just reading.
I mean, to be fair, my kids are in school, so I read a lot.
That's fair. But and you said it earlier too, it's your job. Like
Right.
no, and you do audio a little bit too, right?
Oh, yeah. On my bad dyslexia days where I just can't make sense of anything, I rely exclusively on audio because it's the only way I can read on those days.
Do you ever do like I know some people do like they'll listen to it while also reading it?
I have done that and I have enjoyed it somewhat, but I usually just do one or the other.
Yeah, I've tried it a couple times and I can't do it. Like
Yeah. I think I could train myself to like it, but I don't think I do like it.
and why would you want to train yourself to like something if like you know that there's other ways you like stuff?
I know, right? I think the only reason you would do that if you're trying to speed up your reading speed, which I like to enjoy a book, like I like to soak it in.
Yeah, exactly. Like I might burn through things quickly out of like a desire to win, but like I take I still take my time enough to like take it in and enjoy it unless I'm not enjoying it. That's when I like crank the speed up and I'm just like I just want to get this done.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the ebook away. I'm just going to have the audio and I'm just going to race through it
Burn through it. Yeah.
cuz why not, right?
Why not? I don't know. You could just, DNF.
You're not very good at DNFing either.
Hey, I DNF'd 2 books this month.
Technically, I did too. No, I DNF'd one. I finished that other one.
Ah,
The Last Final Girl was a book that like I turned the speed up on and I just burned through it because I
I don't
didn't
understand how
really.
you can. That narrator was so bad. It would be impossible to understand what's happening.
So I tried reading the ebook for it and the ebook wasn't any better. Because I thought the same thing. I'm like, well, maybe it's just the narrator. And I'm reading. I'm like, no, this is just not good. But like I liked the concept because I like horror movies.
Yeah.
So I'm just like I'm just gonna turn the speed up and I'm just gonna get through this and see if it was worth my time.
Was it?
No,
Yeah.
like it wasn't the worst. Like it was not the worst thing I've read. It was not Before They Are Hanged.
Get out of here with that. Abercrombie is a master.
Right. My 2 lowest rated books or my 3 lowest rated books are the Blade itself, Before They Are Hanged, and The Fellowship of the Ring. So
Why are we even talking right now?
I don't know. You said yes, you'd do this like a month ago, and then I read those 2 books, and
And then I should have canceled on you. That's my
probably.
mistake.
But like I liked like 99% of the other stuff you read this year, so I feel like it balances out.
Does it though?
I really liked The Legend of Lies of Loch Lamora.
You have got to learn the title to my favorite book.
No, you want to know what's actually the worst part about this?
What?
Literally sitting in front of me right now is the book.
Maybe you are dyslexic.
I could be. Maybe I have really bad reading comprehension. Who knows?
Maybe you do. I'm gonna start quizzing you on books when we finish.
You can do that, and I'm really good at Google. It's my job.
Stop! There's no way Google can help you. I'm gonna come up with some really abstract things.
And then I will ask somebody else. I'll phone a friend. It'll be fine. But I think I've probably taken enough of your time this evening. It's like 9 o'clock now.
I just remembered I have a video to edit.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I forgot about it. I'd probably be doing something else if I weren't here.
That's fair. I almost forgot about this too after messaging you. Like
Did
it was
you?
like yes, like I messaged you at like I don't know lunchtime,
Mhm.
and then at like when you messaged me, I saw the message on my phone. And I looked at my phone. I'm like, oh shit, I'm supposed to go record. And she's like, what time? I'm like, 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh, it was 10 minutes until record time. No, it was 14 minutes. I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing a podcast. And Corey was like, when? I'm like, 14 minutes from now?
At least we're both bad about that.
Yay. And we both showed up. So that's all that matters.
That is all that matters. But thank you very much for coming on and chatting about books and your channels and all of that.
Yeah. And thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Where can everyone find you? I'm going to put it in the show notes also.
Merphy Napier Manga, if you like manga, or Merphy Napier Books, if you like books,
On YouTube, obviously.
on YouTube.
And do you want to plug your Patreon as well?
Oh, maybe try the channels first, see if you actually like me.
You need to plug that Patreon more.
It's good. We're good.
I'll plug it for you. If you join the Patreon, you get access to the Discord, and the Discord is a just giant mess of chaotic fun.
That is so true. And then you get to experience Mean Murphy, apparently.
Yeah, like she threatens you. I got called in capital letters an enabler today,
Because you were enabling!
and I think a week ago I got called a lunatic or a loon, something like that.
No, I called Kerbix a lunatic today.
No, but this was like a week ago.
Nicely.
Like when
I'm
I got my
super nice.
second blackout, you called me a lunatic.
Oh, yeah, that sounds right. Okay, but if y'all are listening to this podcast, then you know he's a bit of a loon.
That's valid. Anyway, if you would like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. You can find us on social media. They're all in the show notes. You can send us emails to social@one-quest.com. And yeah, we'll be back again some other time with more stuff to talk about. Bye.
We'll be back at some point doing something about something.
No, that is literally how, yeah, every time. I'm like, we'll be back next week with something else to talk about. Bye.
That's hilarious.